would like to specially thank Infiniti of Lexington for allowing us to come out and film this review. If you would like to check out their all-new dealership and extensive inventory of all the Infiniti models, their physical address and web address has been provided in the video description.
As you can see, the Q50 has the typical small and lightweight Infiniti key fob. Our Q50 also has remote engine start, which is optional on the 3.0T and Red Sport models. Every model also gets the intelligent entry system. Let's go ahead and check out the many different powertrains. For the 2017 model year, Infiniti has left the 4 powertrains unchanged, 3 of which were all new last year. The base engine is the 2.0T, where you'll get a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, producing 208 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. The next step up is this 3-liter twin-turbo V6 engine. It is available in 2 different tunes, with the 3.0T producing 300 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. In the Red Sport, the engine adds some performance goodies, which takes the power up to 400 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque. The last powertrain is found in the Q50 Hybrid. It pairs a 3.5-liter V6 engine to an electric motor and a battery pack, which together produce an impressive 360 horsepower. Every Q50, even the Hybrid, is mated to a 7-speed automatic with manual shiftability and downshift rev matching. Fuel economy is pretty strong in the Q50. The 2.0T is rated at 26 combined, and opting for the 3.0T reduces it to 20 city, 29 highway, 23 combined. Opting for the 400 horsepower Red Sport won't cost you much at the pump, since it's still rated at 22 combined. The Hybrid Q50 also gets really impressive fuel economy, especially when considering the performance. For 2017, it's rated at 27 city, 32 highway, 29 combined. Now that we've got all that info out of the way, let's check out the exterior styling. The 2017 Q50 didn't see any exterior styling adjustments this year, but like I mentioned earlier, this sport model styling is now available with the base engine. Every model gets this mesh front grille with a nice chrome surround. That aggressive look continues over to the headlights. They are LED and have LED daytime running lights on every model. The LED turn signals are down here with the also LED fog lamps. Of course, not every Q50 will look quite this sporty. The Sports and the Red Sport 400 are the only models to get this lower front fascia and the lower body kit. Our Q50 has these good-looking 19-inch aluminum alloy wheels, which are optional. There are many other wheel designs available, so I'll just show you them with the power of editing. The Sport models and Red Sport get these ridiculously big 14-inch ventilated disc brakes in the front and 13.8-inch ventilated disc brakes in the rear. And the Red Sport 400 will get them painted in bright red. Summer tires are available on the rear-wheel drive Sport models. Every Q50 has these outside mirrors with turn signal indicators built in. Sport models and models with the premium package also get auto dimming mirrors with reverse tilt down functions. The Infiniti Q50 is 189 inches long, which lands it at the upper end of the class. It's 6 inches longer than the BMW 3 Series and 4 inches longer than the Lexus IS. As far as safety is concerned, the Q50 is pretty good. It scored good on all of the safety tests besides acceptable on small front overlap. Infiniti does help you avoid a crash though, with the availability of several advanced safety systems. While it's not standard like you'll find on the new IS, the driver's assistance package includes a suite of advanced safety systems. It'll also get you Infiniti's around view monitor, which might be the only 360-degree camera system in the class. The rear of the Q50 also has a fairly aggressive look. In the center you have two distinct pieces of chrome accents, and above that is an integrated lip spoiler. The taillight unit is mostly LED, with LED brake lights and LED reverse lights. Every model gets these large chrome exhaust pipes, but the Red Sport gets an exclusive brushed satin finish. Regular Q50 models will have a 20-gallon fuel tank, giving them a fuel range between 440 miles for the Red Sport all-wheel drive and 520 miles for the most efficient 2.0T rear-wheel drive. The hybrid model has a smaller 17.6-gallon fuel tank, but gets the largest range of 528 miles. Premium fuel is required on all models. Now let's check out the Q50's luxurious interior. This Q50 has the graphite leather interior with maple wood trim. Wheat, stone, and Havana leather are also available, but all four colors won't be available on every trim level. Cashew aluminum is the standard interior trim, and maple wood is optional. The door trim is one of the nicest pieces of the interior. It is beautifully crafted, with stitched leather on the armrest and above it. Of course, all the windows are fully automatic. To get these memory seats, you have to option on the Premium Plus package. On the hybrid, I believe it is standard though. This maple wood is gorgeous, but you have to fork over $400 to get it. Our model also has these optional illuminated kick plates, which match nicely with the aluminum sport pedals. An 8-way power driver seat is standard equipment, but the Sport and the Red Sport gain power lumbar support. The Sport trims also get power torso adjustment, which inflates these side bolsters. I haven't seen this in many other vehicles. You also have manual thigh adjustment, so the seats are really customizable. Leather red is standard, but on the sport models and the hybrid you get real leather standard. Those models can also option on very premium semi-aniline leather, which is new for 2017. When you first get into the Q50, you feel an immediate contrast with the outside. The interior does have some sporty touches, but overall the tone is more luxurious than sporty. The materials are quite nice though. The entire upper dash is covered with soft touch plastics. There is also some padded leather down here where your knees rest. Fit and finish is exceptional. Now let's fire it up. Push button start is standard. Every model gets these two screens. The top one is 8 inches and the other is 7 inches. The gauges are typical Infiniti. They're simple but elegant and finished in the signature purple. Electric power steering is standard, but you can get Infiniti's pioneering direct adaptive steering on 3.0T models and up. The steering wheel is leather wrapped, and on the left you have phone controls and voice controls. The right has your cruise controls, which are adaptive on our model. The wheel adjustments are power on the sports and optional on the premiums. By the way, rain-sensing wipers are now standard on every trim. Storage space in the Q50 is decent for the class. The center console is a pretty good size, and it is fully felt lined. There is also a 12-volt power outlet, 2 USBs, and an aux jack. There is a little storage up here, though it's not very big. Another 12-volt power outlet. The door storage is surprisingly small. Every model gets this leather-wrapped shifter. You can shift it manually by pushing the shifter to the left. You can also shift through these huge magnesium paddle shifters. They are column mounted, which is why they have to be so big. When you shift into reverse, a standard backup camera will appear on most models. We have the optional around view monitor, which lets you see 360 degrees around the vehicle. It also includes moving object detection, which will beep and light up when it detects something moving around the vehicle. You can also change the camera view to the side. This little toggle here controls the drive modes. You can place it in Eco, Normal, or Sport modes. Even though both screens are touchscreens, you can also use this knob. Heated front seats are optional on every Q50 except the hybrid. They can be had through the Premium Plus packages, and, by the way, ventilated seats are not available on this car at all. Almost every Q50 has this updated Bose Performance Series audio system. It has 2 more speakers for 2017, bringing the total to a whopping 16 speakers throughout the cabin. Overall, the sound quality is great. You do have physical buttons for frequently used audio functions. Dual zone automatic climate control is standard, and new for 2017 is a great polyphenol filter on 2.0 premium and up. The climate functions will show up on the top screen. It's pretty easy to use, but the buttons are fairly small. These 2 screens with InTouch are standard equipment. Navigation is optional on almost every Q50. Let's quickly check out this system. I'll start out by saying that the InTouch system is the best integration of a 2-screen system. The top primarily shows navigation, and you can quickly scroll through the map using the knob. You can also touch the screen and pinch to zoom. Overall, both screens are responsive to my touch and decently quick to load. The bottom screen also has some navigation functions and pages of the different apps. One of those apps is Phone. You can scroll between a list of your synced contacts. Bluetooth is of course standard, and you can play, pause, and shuffle tracks straight from this screen. At the top you can pick between different audio sources. If you scroll over, you'll find more apps. From here you can go into many different vehicle settings like the drive mode selector. In here you can make custom settings for how you want the vehicle to feel. You also have an info section. From here you have many useful apps like fuel economy and traffic. I won't go into the nitty-gritty details since we have another video dedicated to covering all of the features. If you want to check that out, follow the link in the description. This auto-dimming rearview mirror with HomeLink garage door openers is standard across the board. Your felt-lined sunglass holder. This SOS button can be used in the event of an emergency, or it will call 911 automatically if the airbags deploy. This power tilt and slide moonroof is standard on all but the base 2.0T, but no panoramic moonroof is available. A wind buffer is also included. Overall, the Q50's interior is quite luxurious. While it's not as sporty as the outside, it is really a nice mix between both worlds. I almost forgot to mention that blind spot monitoring is optional on 2.0T Premium and up. Let's go ahead and check out the rest of the Q50. The rear doors also have an attractive design like the front, plus they open at a wide angle. It's leather where you rest your elbow, and the rear windows are automatic. In the rear you'll find 35.1 inches of legroom and 37.5 inches of headroom. This places it at the top of the class space-wise, and it is definitely appreciated once you get in. The seats are soft like you would expect. All models get these vents with silver trim. I'm not really sure what this is for. You of course have an assist grip and some lighting. The headliner is good, but it's not as nice as the Lexus IS. You have a large center armrest and a couple hidden cup holders. A trunk pass-through is also included. Like I mentioned just a little bit ago, the Q50 is probably the most spacious car in the class. That extra space is definitely appreciated when it comes to the leg and headroom. Both my legs and feet have enough space to move around, with the seat either adjusted all the way back or for my 5'8" brother. This tunnel would make the third passenger uncomfortable. You can open the trunk by using the key or the button underneath the trunk lid. You'll find 13.5 cubic feet for the regular Q50 and 13.2 cubic feet for the hybrid. This makes it right on par with the competition, and its opening is pretty large. The rear seats do fold 60-40 split on Sport and Red Sport models, and you also get these hydraulic struts. The rear seats of the Q50 are quite nice for a vehicle in this segment. They're pretty spacious, luxuriously appointed, and comfortable. The passenger seat is 8-way power adjusting, and the higher end models get power lumbar support. The dash is soft touch plastic, but I do wish they would have added the Q60 stitching. The glove box is large, dampened, and felt lined. Well guys, we hope you enjoyed this detailed look at the 2017 Infiniti Q50 3.0T Sport all-wheel drive. Stay tuned for the pricing information of this particular model, as well as the rest of the Q50 lineup. Be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and don't forget to come along with us next time, as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.
The 298 kilowatts, 4.9s 0 to 100 km per hour Infiniti Q50 Red Sport is a lot of luxury car for $80,000. It looks the part, too, though there are some shortcomings you should know about before considering this unorthodox BMW alternative. Looks $1 million. Goes like the clappers. Well equipped for the outlay. You'll stand out next to your friends. Steering by wire is interesting tech, but lacks feel and feedback. Ride neither as plush/dynamic as class toppers. Cabin has ergonomic quirks. Infiniti made no secret that it expected a slow start when it launched in Australia during 2012. Over the ensuing 5 years it's experienced nothing short of a slow grind. In short, the Hong Kong-based Nissan luxury subsidiary spent a long time hobbled by an aged product range and a distinct lack of brand awareness against the big three Germans, and conceptually similar brand Lexus. The worm turned a little when the Q50 sedan arrived in early 2014. At last, the brand had a new model on its books, and one to compete with the big-selling Mercedes-Benz C-Class, BMW 3 Series, Audi A4 and Lexus IS. Since then it has moved about 1,000 units here. Not many, but enough to underpin the company's threefold national dealer network expansion to 9 sites. Now it's time for the mid-cycle upgrade, which doesn't actually bring a whole suite of changes. Yet given the car remains something of a mystery to most, it's well worth a revisit. The range kicks off with the $54,900 before on-road costs 155 kilowatts, Mercedes-engined, 2.0 TGT and climbs to $62,400 for the 2.0 T Sport Premium. An extra $8,000 gets you the 3.0 T with its 224 kilowatts twin-turbo V6, and a further $3,000 gets you a 3.5 T V6 petrol-electric hybrid. The diesel that made up just 2% of sales is gone. And let's be honest, if you're serious you'll probably negotiate a discount. But here we're looking at the range topper, the $79,900 Infiniti Q50 3.0 T Red Sport, with an uprated 3.0-liter twin-turbo V6 engine punching out an eye-opening 298 W of power and 475 nanometers of torque. The same engine is found in the perversely more expensive Q60 Red Sport Coupe. To give you some context, and to frame Infiniti's pitch, consider that a 270 kW/520 Nm V6 turbo Mercedes-AMG C43 sedan costs almost $23,000 more. It's also priced smack bang between the 233 kilowatts Lexus IS 350 F Sport and Sports Luxury. Then again, a 270 kilowatts Kia Stinger GT with RWD and more space is $20,000 cheaper. Fittingly, it also comes fairly loaded with equipment. On the outside there are 19-inch wheels shod with modest Dunlop SP run flats, adaptive LED headlights with auto leveling, and undeniably sexy $1,500 tri-coat paint available. There's no doubting the acumen of Infiniti's designers. This is one good-looking sedan, with curvaceous haunches, great proportions, and a color palette to die for. It stands out, and turns heads. Ditto its Q60 Coupe twin. The cabin is a bit of a mixed bag, with some obvious bits lifted from the Nissan parts bin such as the key fob and starter button. Also the fact the navigation points out Nissan dealers when you're close by, as if you want that reminder. Yet there are also gorgeous, quilted, semi-aniline leather seats with electric adjustment and heating, a proximity key, ambient cabin lighting, sunroof, a 16-speaker audio system made by Bose, and lots of silver contrast surfaces, soft leather touchpoints and racy red stitching to remind you that you're in the sporty number. There's also a gorgeous steering wheel with electric reach/rake adjustment. As you'd expect, there's a heap of active safety tech such as adaptive cruise control that worked fine on Melbourne's packed freeways, plus blind spot monitoring, cross-traffic alert, forward and reverse autonomous emergency braking, and a 360-degree overhead camera view, also yanked from Nissan. There's also a lane departure prevention system, plus a warning chime, that was far less consistently good at nudging you back between the lines than the newest systems from Audi, BMW, and Mercedes that we've sampled. Infotainment comprises two LCD touchscreens mounted in a vertical sequence, befitting the car's tech-y target buyer. It houses sat-nav with Suna Live updates and DAB+. There's also audio pilot noise compensation tech like those used in your long-haul flight headphones. The array is interesting. The lower screen has a number of icons that allow you to scroll through various menus, including the sat-nav that's displayed on the upper screen, a system that's also perversely controlled by a rotary dial mounted on the transmission tunnel. It takes a little adjustment, and while we love Infiniti for being boldly different, there's no doubt a system like BMW's iDrive is way more cohesive. Fellow Japanese brand Lexus also has similar ergonomic quirks, as does every French brand. The other bugbear is the fact the fonts on the lower screen, upper screen, and the digital instruments behind the steering wheel, all look minutely different. A small, but important detail. Like most rear-drive medium sedans, rear legroom is pretty crap, though the 500-liter boot is quite commodious for the class. Now, that engine. It's not quite the radical GTR engined Eau Rouge concept, but 298 kilowatts is nothing to sneeze at, nor is a 0 to 100 km/h time of 4.9 seconds, though we clocked a 4.8s on our V-Box in the Kia Stinger we bought with our own money, so it's relative. In turbo V6 fashion it's got a crisp note, but remains understated even under heavy throttle. But man does it hammer, with immediate throttle response and a surging mid-range. The Nissan Group has always made brilliant V6 engines, and this continues that proud tradition. The engine's outputs are sent to the rear wheels, only the hybrid gets the option of AWD, via a pretty well sorted 7-speed automatic gearbox with paddle shifters. It's not the lesson in crispness and kick-down decisiveness that BMW's ZF8 is, but it's pretty damned sharp for a GT car. The suspension is a double wishbone/multi-link setup, complemented by dynamic digital suspension, which is Infiniti parlance for button-adjustable dampers that complement auto-adjusting variable damping. You have a spectrum from slightly firm, comfort, to stiff as a board, Sport and Sport Plus, though even in the softest mode the car still feels occasionally perturbed by sharp hits. Not offensively so, but compared to the class toppers. There's also tweak speed-sensitive direct adaptive steering by wire, which makes me think of Airbus for some reason, with various levels of resistance dialed in for you to choose from. It's a nice high-tech selling point, but it never offers the advanced levels of steering feel and feedback claimed. Unless by advanced Infiniti means not enough. We're not purists to the detriment of anything else, and there's no doubt it'll appeal to some folk. It's also laudably responsive from center. But there's precious little engagement or communication, meaning you never quite know what the front wheels are doing. It also protests at full lock in urban driving, by jolting and trying to return towards center. The handling is relatively good, though with the ESC loosened it'll bite you if you're not careful, and that steering makes it hard to sit on a knife edge. It's a fine GT, but the more engaging BMW 340i will eat it alive on a sequence, preferably without the optional variable steering the Bavarian brand just hasn't nailed yet. From an ownership perspective you get a 4-year/100,000 km warranty and 15,000 km/12-month service intervals. Given the small fleet on the road, you can be sure your dealer will give you a very good experience, which is worth noting. All told, the Q50 Red Sport offers some genuine positive attributes. It looks great, goes like the clappers in a straight line and comes loaded with features for the $80,000 outlay. Moreover, you'll stand out from the crowd by virtue of its rareness. However, it's no dynamic benchmark despite some novel tech, and the cabin is a bit of a grab bag of ideas. Good, yes. Interesting certainly. Great. Not at all. Sometimes things become valuable because of relative scarcity. In the Infiniti's case, the link is tenuous. It's a genuinely interesting car, but one that shows all the traits of remaining a niche proposition by virtue of Australia's market competitiveness and taste for known quantities.